Hello and welcome to the first episode of Decoding Branding with Divya Shah. In this episode, we dive deeper to understand how you can build your personal brand as a founder or a creator with Jerry Josh. He brings with himself more than 5 years of experience as a marketing specialist and a 2.5 years of experience as a LinkedIn specialist and a personal branding expert who has managed to build a community of over 50,000 plus for himself on social media. So let's get started. Hi, Jerry. Welcome to my podcast. How are you doing?
Hi Divya, I'm doing good and thank you so much for this invite. Was looking forward to your podcast and finally I'm here now. So great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, firstly, for accepting my invite. So, you already know, right, that personal branding is like becoming the hot topic of the industry at present. And honestly, when I had to shoot this topic, I was like, okay, Jerry is the person for me. Okay. So, how have you gone about building your personal brand as a personal branding expert?
That's actually a good question because a lot of people have heard the term personal branding and it's become a boon since the COVID times when everyone was like forced to sit at home and start working from there and start building their businesses online because offline was not possible at that time. That's when a lot of people started talking about personal branding, but personal branding as a concept or as a theory, it's not something new. It's been there from a long time, wherein you build your name or you consciously create a story around your name so that you can get more opportunities, more businesses, more leads, anything which can help you accelerate your business. So that was a basic definition of like personal branding. And I have personally not been in the personal branding space when I started my career. I was into marketing, social media marketing, digital marketing, and all. But my core tasks, or what you call KPI in the corporate
Yeah.
terminology, was like to build that company's brand and also build founder's brand online so that he might get more
Okay.
businesses, he might get more leads, and he can crack some deals online as well. So I started working on the company's brand and also CEO's brand as well. Along the way, I thought, okay, if I'm able to build a company's brand, and if I'm also able to build his personal brand as well online, the principle that I apply for a company brand almost remains the same for a personal brand. It's just that when it comes to a person building their brand, it becomes more human. You can add more elements rather than just a brick and mortar products and services. It brings out more stories, authentic stories of how someone started, where are they heading, what are their values. Those core insights can be added to the personal branding journey. And that's how I started in 2020. I started sharing my story, why I love marketing, why I was attracted to social media marketing to be more precise. I
Okay.
started sharing my journey, how I can actually grow my accounts. And then I started looking out for people who wanted to build their own brand or who wanted to share their story on social media platforms because that was my specialty that I wanted to grow. So anyone who was interested in growing their personal brand on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, I used to consult with them and help them share their story to the world.
Okay, that's quite a great journey. The only reason being that you started, building it for some founder as a part of your full-time job, probably, right? And then you got into it when pandemic gave you a chance. I'm sure you would have worked with founders and creators. So, what
Right.
is the approach? What's the difference in the approach when it comes to building a personal brand as a creator, and when it comes to building a personal brand as a founder or a C-suite level executive?
So when you're actually building your personal brand as a creator, it's more of sharing educational content and getting more traffic to your personal profiles. But when you are building your personal brand as a founder, it's more about what values your company is bringing in, or what are the products and services that you're bringing in, how you are going to help the end customer. It's more about them versus more about me. When it's creator, it's more about me and how I'm providing value. But when it's a company or a brand, it's more about how I'm able to service you better so that your life becomes easier. A creator might not have an end goal of I want to make your life easier. A creator will be very, very focused on getting a million million followers or 10 million followers, because that's the only way that he will be able to monetize his profile or his content. And that's absolutely fine and that's fair, because the only way to grow as a creator is to get more collaborations, get products and services revolved around themselves. But when it comes to business, it's more about the holistic approach that a founder takes. He necessarily will not always talk about his products and services. He might also talk about the culture of the organization to attract new clients, to attract new employees. So there are multiple facets when it comes to a founder building a personal brand versus a creator building
Creator.
a personal brand.
So, if I have to dive a little deeper into this and probably ask you to, list three KPIs for each, like a creator and for a C-suite level executive or a founder when they're building a personal brand. So, what would be the three KPIs, or what are the three KPIs that you focus on for each of them? At least three of them.
Yeah, so when I'm building a personal brand for a creator, the three main essential things that I really look out for, one is their story. What brings you here? Why are you building your personal brand here? And you being a creator, what's your niche? Because there are certain niches which I am not an expert in. Like, let's say, for example, if a finance creator approaches me,
Hmm.
I'm not probably an expert, but I know people who can help finance creators out. I help more of creators who are in the marketing domain. So I identify that. So one key essential element that I look for is story. Within the story, I get to know what is your niche, where have you been, and how are you planning to proceed further. The second is what would be the type of content. The type of content meaning what would be the format that you would be comfortable with, because there are certain formats that I can really help you out with. That being text, would be carousel post, which is like sliders that you see, and
Yeah.
also audio platforms. Now, since audio platforms are on the boom, like Twitter Spaces are there.
Spaces.
Yeah, Spotify Green Room was there, which is now turned again to Spotify audio podcasting again. Then Clubhouse was popular in the initial COVID days, but don't know what
Yeah.
happened, that their popularity has gone down. But still, a lot of people prefer audio platforms because you don't need to be ready to be in front of a camera. You can just be like walking and having a conversation, just like you have it on a call or on the phone. So, second is the audio format that I really look out for, and third would be what goals are they looking for? Are their end is the end goal only followers, or is their end goal creating becoming a known person in the particular domain? Let's say, for example, if a marketing creator approaches me and he says that, okay, I have 5 years of corporate experience, and I want to build my domain or build my personal brand in social media. It can be organic, it can be paid, it doesn't matter, but I need to be like, if someone looks out for who is the social media expert in marketing domain, my name should be in the top 10 list. So that's
Hmm.
when I listen to his story first, identify his goals, identify the format that he's comfortable with. And the third would be what additional resources can he help with, which is currently not available on the net. Like, there are a lot
Yeah.
of guidebooks that are available, there are a lot of checklists that are available. Checklist meaning how to optimize your profile, or how to create content, or how to write blogs. So
Yeah.
what are those elements which he will be able to help with, so that that can boost or skyrocket his personal brand? Like, let's say, for example, if he's able to write good guides on how to create social media posts, or how to start building social media posts, I can help him there, and I can help him market those products, market those digital products in such a way that his name comes in the top 10 list of social media experts, or top social media consultants. And that's one way that he can build his personal brand. Uh, I know this answer got a bit long, but when it comes to the three key KPIs for uh, founders, it's a bit difficult, because the thing is they have to manage multiple things within their business, and
Yeah.
managing a personal brand or managing their social media profile, it's never their priority.
Yeah.
It's a good to do thing for them. Some of them were pushed by their marketing teams to get it done. That's why they are doing it. What I personally feel is, less than 10% founders are actually interested in building their personal brand or getting their story out. Uh, very few are there who are consciously looking to build their personal brand, and you can easily identify who are those founders who are explicitly trying out. But yeah,
Yeah.
when it comes to the key KPIs for founders, what I personally work on or personally invest in, what is the growth rate of his profile? Now, by growth rate, I mean, am I connecting his profile to the right audience which he's serving, which is which he's serving, meaning the products and services that he has to offer. Second is how quickly is his content growing on the social media platforms that he's sharing content. I don't look into engagement rates immediately, though engagement rates are a very good metric to understand whether the content is working or not. But I only look at impressions in the first phase. First phase. First phase is typically a quarter, 3 months for me. And in the first 3 months, what I basically do is get maximum eyeballs for his content, because that way a lot of people will start recognizing him as a specialist or as someone who's providing services in that particular area. After the 3 months, then we start with taking engagement rate as a key metric, and the engagement rate that I typically maintain is 2%. If you have any number of followers, it currently does not matter for me, but I make sure that all the content that I'm sharing on any social media platform needs to have minimum 2% of engagement rate. Only then it qualifies as a quality content for me.
Okay.
The engagement rate, and and lastly, what I clearly observe or clearly follow every month is how many DMs, direct messages, he has got for his product or service. Not hi, hello, how are you doing?
The
Not those
leads.
kinds of, yeah, not even leads. Even if basic inquiry, not qualified leads, just
Yeah, yeah.
inquiries. Yeah, just inquiries like, hey, I heard you provide marketing services. Can you let me know more about it? That qualifies as okay. So before you took my services, you were getting 10 to 15 inquiries about your products and services. But yeah, after we started working together, it's been 3, 4 months. Now we have started getting 40, 45. So that's a very key metric, which is which can be visually measured for the founder as well. Okay, yeah, just because I took your services, I'm getting these many inquiries. These numbers make sense to me, because he needs to report those numbers back to the business as well. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm shelling out some money on personal branding. What's the end result? The end
Hmm.
result for him would be the content is growing, his profile is growing, and he's getting more inquiries. So these are key metrics that I evaluate for founders.
Interesting one. So here I'll ask you just one question. Is that you mentioned about the engagement rate being minimum 2%. So for someone who's getting newly started into the space, how do you calculate engagement rate? Like a
Yeah,
quick
so
formula.
correct. So in the initial 3 months, I do not care about what engagement rate you get, because I know it's low. Uh, for someone who's just starting, he might just be having 1,000, 2,000, or 5,000 followers from his business network, whatever connections he has. But after the third month, the way I evaluate is the total impressions divided by the total engagement. By total engagement, I mean total likes, total comments, total shares, repost. I divide that and I get the percentage. And I make sure that we are hitting the 2% engagement mark after the third month. In the first 3 months, it's all about getting your story out, making sure that your profile looks visually appealing, because that's what sells in social media.
Okay. So now if I have to ask you to walk me through you know, a strategy that you take to help any of the founder, like the profile right now is non-existent. Okay. And you need to help them build their personal brand.
Sure. So whenever uh, a new client or a new lead comes in, if they want to start the process of personal branding, my first week is only on calls with them, just to understand who they are, what they basically do, what's their journey been like, and just to get their story out, not their business, not their product or services, only their story. What influenced them or what encouraged them to start their business? Once I get to know the story, the first 2 weeks of their uh, what do how do I their content that's going to go out in the to the world will only be about their story. So the initial 2 weeks is just to build a momentum to their profile pages, get more engagements or get more impressions on their personal profiles. Because what I have observed in the last 2.5 to 3 years was a lot of people are interested to know your story than your products and services initially. Like
Yeah.
if I meet you for the first time, I would not care what products you are selling or what services you're selling. But if you start talking about your story, your journey, where you started, I might be really interested. So the
Yeah.
initial 2 weeks, it's all about the story, the journey, how it started, where it started, when, how, what. And then after the second week, we slowly niche it down to why we started the business. And
Yeah.
from week 3 to week 6, it's all about why the business started, how the business is helping, what encouraged, what are the problems that are there in the industry. We only talk about problems from week 3 to week 6. Then from week 7 onwards, we start working on week 7 to week 10 and 11. We start working on, okay, these were the problems that we talked about in the past. What if this is the solution? What if this can help you? What if you do this and this might help you? We start talking about solutions. We have still not started talking about our products. We are only talking about solutions in general terms. If they get to know about products and services, that's great. But then it's we are only talking about solution. It's then again week 11 is only for the success metrics. Like, hey, I started talking about my personal branding journey 3 months back, and this is the result that I've got. I've got so much engagement rate, impressions, or so much traffic to my website. It's only numbers and statistics of last 3 months in week 11. Week 12 is when now, since you've already known my journey, how I started the business, these are some of the products that I have, or these are the kinds of services that I'm providing. Week 12 onwards, we start writing more about the business, more about who the people that we helped. If we can get any client testimonials, we start having that. If we can get any client case studies, we start rolling that out. And from third month onwards, it's if I talk about a week, 3 posts would still be personal about my story or something new that I've learned. Two post, 2 to 3 posts would again be more focused on how the company products have helped someone, or how the uh, company is developing their own product. Because you need to make sure that while you're building your personal brand, your personal story, your business brand also has to grow, because
Yeah.
that's where he will be making more money.
Yeah.
So that's why we keep a balance of 3 personal and 3 business posts from third month onwards. But yeah, before that, we don't talk about business at all.
So, how would you, so there's lately been this notion that you need to post, like, you see almost every other post having their selfies or their personal photos. Probably they don't even have a context to the post. So, what's your take on this thing, especially when it comes to founders? Should they be putting out, because a lot of them are not okay with it?
So yeah, that's actually a good question, because this is the dilemma that a lot of people are facing. Are you comfortable with posting your pictures? The post can be talking about the North Pole, but the picture might be of South Pole.
Yeah.
Makes no sense, but you still have to do it because that's what the algorithm likes.
Yeah.
But again, my first question to the business founder would at that point of time was, so what's your main purpose of being on social media? It's like, I just want to grow my personal brand, however it is. Then my answer was, if your answer is however you want to grow, then why not post random pictures? If it's helping you grow, if it's getting you more eyeballs, why not do it? Unless it's something that's totally ethically, morally wrong for you, don't do it. But if it's just a matter of picture, because you are clicking 10 to 15 pictures a day, if one of them turns out to be good and about one of them can generate 100,000 views for you, if you are completely okay with that, why not do that? Because that's helping your profile grow. But then I have also had founders who are like, hey, I'm not comfortable posting pictures, or I don't like posting pictures. I do click pictures, but that's only for Instagram and personal purposes, but not for business. For them, what I do is, fair enough, don't post your pictures specifically. There are a lot of platforms now that have come out with AI generated images, which
Yeah.
can help you grow. And I've done that for a couple of people, wherein they are not posting their pictures, but they're posting pictures related, somewhat related to the content. Their content is more about what are the new things that they have learned. And it's typically revolves around networking, meeting people, meetings. So you get a lot of stock images or AI generated images, which revolves around meeting, coffee, networking, learning something new, or some whiteboard behind for corporate environments. Use that images, though it might not fetch as much likes, impression, or engagement as a selfie would, but still, that's again another way to beat algorithm. But then there are few folks, like I personally don't have any image post in my profile. I only
Yeah.
do text post or carousel post. But I've not seen that tremendous growth if I had posted selfies versus the text post. But still, the profile is growing, not at 10x rate, but still at 2x or 3x rate, which is still fine for me because my end goal is not get a million impressions in the next 2 years. I'm here for the next 5 years or 10 years because the platform will keep evolving. If you know LinkedIn's algorithm, if you still remember, in 2020, the algorithm boosted a lot of text posts, no
Yeah.
selfies, no images, no
Yeah.
videos, nothing. In 21, they started boosting all carousel posts.
Yeah.
And in 22, it was selfie. Now in 23, it might be video. That keeps changing. It does not mean that
Yeah.
you will stop there. Keep experimenting and just check what works and start doing it. That's the only suggestion that I have for founders.
Okay, so it's like if you can do it, do it. If you can't, then find an alternative. Because like I think this is a much needed advice for me also. Because I stopped posting on LinkedIn because I'm like, I don't have any relevant pictures. And morally
Yeah,
and
so
ethically, I just can't put like, hey, I'm smiling and my post is talking about something sad. It's just two poles apart thing, and just to get that eyeball for me morally, it's just impossible. So I'm like, I'll not post anything. I think that's
that's
a
okay.
wrong
I think that's okay. Just 18 days left and we'll have a new algorithm next year.
yeah, I think then I'll be putting out this podcast के snippets out and be
Uh,
there like, oh, video content तो बहुत सारा है अब मेरे पास.
bloopers. Time for some blooper fun.
Oh god, I'll have a lot of bloopers. I think. Oh, it's just very interesting. But I think it's been quite a long time since I stopped posting because of this whole algorithm change, which was not the right approach, I feel, but I just did not know the other way around it. So thank you for sharing that AI generated bit. So if someone like because we're talking about someone who's starting like from scratch, so what would be the ideal frequency of posting to maintain that consistency and also to not get burned out?
So it depends on one factor mainly. If you are creating your content on your own, then I would suggest you keep a frequency of at least minimum 2 posts a week to start off with, so that you don't get overwhelmed and not lose hope immediately as well. So 2 to 3 posts a week if you're creating content on your own. But if you have hired a ghostwriter or if you have hired a content writers, then I would see maintain a frequency of an alternate week, alternate posting to start off with, because what I've typically observed is if you hire ghostwriters, you do it for let's say 6 months or 12 months, and after that you want to take that control back, and you don't want to be in a situation where the ghostwriter is posting content daily for 7 days, and then when you get that control, you're not even able to do one post a week. That will again hamper your growth or hamper all the progress that has been made. So keep it, when you're starting off, just keep it 3 posts a week, and that should be good enough. The ideal strategy which everyone should be following is one post a day on LinkedIn. I'm talking only about LinkedIn, but if I talk about Twitter, that's multiple tweets a day. But again, it does not need to be a lengthy thing. It can just be one liner on what you did, what you learned. But yeah, tweets are simpler than LinkedIn posts, is what I personally feel. But
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, But yeah, the views might be different for a lot of people. But yeah, so yeah, when it comes to LinkedIn, just stick to one post a day. That's the ideal way. But yeah, if you're someone new, don't to not get overwhelmed with all the content that you have to create and get burdened. Stick to 3 posts a week.
Okay. So now that you've mentioned, about writing the content yourself or hiring a ghostwriter, a freelancer, or building a team. So when do you think is the right time for a founder to start building a content team, or should
So for a founder, it's essential that he creates a team because if his end goal is to be known in the digital world, the content team can actually help him create content on not only one platform, on multiple platforms as well, but also keep something keep churning on his blogs as well, because he might not have time every day to sit and write content because there are other decisions or other priority items that he needs to take care of. So if he's a founder and if he's really interested in growing his presence in the digital world, then it's ASAP for him. But if it's a creator who's starting his own journey, and if he's planning to hire a team, I would suggest refrain from creating a team immediately, because you are a creator, you should be known uh, as an expert in this field. So try out as much as you can till the time you learn a platform completely. Now, let's say, for example, if you have spent 6 months posting content, engaging with people, optimizing your profile on LinkedIn, you would have some sense on what works and what does not work on LinkedIn. Then you can hire probably your first writer and they can help you out with more content on LinkedIn. So spend minimum 6 months on one platform before you start building your team or scaling your team as a creator. But as a founder, it needs to be done soon because you cannot be focusing just on creating content.
fair enough? So like it totally depends on, what's your end goal. Do you want to be in this game for a long term or a short term?
Right.
Now, if I have to talk, ask you, when is the right time to expand to more than one platform? Like right now, if a founder is creating just on LinkedIn, when is the right time to go on to Twitter, or for that matter, Instagram, or for that matter, any other platform? When's the right time to start expanding to more than one platform?
Honestly speaking, I don't think there is a right answer to that. But what I have experienced is that if you build on one platform for at least 6 months to a year, you would have built a good audience over there. Minimum it can be
Yeah.
5,000, 10,000, or whatever it is. You would have at least built your name for something. Like, hey, Divya is known for mental health, copywriting, content writing. Jerry is known for personal branding, pizza, social media marketing, or anyone will be known for their own niche. And when they switch to a new platform, you would already find a lot of existing people existing from your LinkedIn community active on Twitter. All you
Yeah.
need to do is start following them, start engaging with them, and the rate at which you can grow becomes faster. But if you are someone who has just like 1,000 followers or who is just starting out on LinkedIn, and if you immediately start creating content on Twitter as well, both would be very different audience. And again, the effort taken would be much more because you'll be concentrating on LinkedIn and on Twitter as well. You would not know what works where, because everything would be a hit and trial for you. But
Yeah.
in the first scenario that I talked about, you know what works for LinkedIn, and you would not be spending 2 to 3 hours on LinkedIn. You would just be spending 30 minutes and you're done with that. Then you'll be focusing, be putting more efforts on a new platform, understanding it, learning it, and then you move to a new platform. So I personally feel that if you take it at least 6 months to a year and then move to a new platform, the chances of success rate over there becomes higher.
Okay. So give a good enough time to, get settled on one platform and then move to the other platform. If I have to ask you, LinkedIn versus Twitter, which is the first platform you would recommend to a founder to get started with their personal brand?
So I would say to get started with a personal brand, always stick to LinkedIn, because the advantage LinkedIn has is you can write long form articles there, which
Yeah.
can be easily identified on Google as well if someone is searching for those specific content. That's the advantage LinkedIn has. And secondly, if you're a founder, a lot of people would be scrolling Whenever, let's say, for example, if you are going in for a meeting where you need to crack a deal, or if you're going in for a meeting for interviewing someone as well, uh, the first thing that they do is check your LinkedIn profile, check your LinkedIn content.
Yeah.
So make sure that that is well set and solid in the first place. And Twitter is something that you can start anytime, any day as well. It does not necessarily need to start with a strategic plan in the first few months. First few months, just go there to explore, learn, and have some fun there. But yeah, if you're a founder and if you are serious about building a personal brand, I would suggest make your LinkedIn solid first and then move to other platforms.
So while we were talking, right now a lot about social media content creation, what are some other approaches apart from social media content creation that you would recommend to, a early stage founder to work on building their personal brand? Probably just 2-3 approaches.
Sure. So your personal branding does not stop once you log off from the computer. That's not something that's possible, and that's not something advisable as well. Because to be in front of your audience, you need to be available in the offline world as well. So there are a few things that I did to make sure that I'm known for social media marketing, or I'm known for personal branding, or I'm known for something fun as pizza. It's because I organize a lot of meetups. So whenever I see that there are a few creators or there are a few people within the city who are passionate about one particular topic, one common topic. For me, it was marketing. I noticed there are 20-25 people who are interested in marketing, who are from the probably the same age group or some from same interest areas. Let's organize an offline meetup, and that's when you actually start building relationships. You start a lot of people would have known you as a social media profile. That's it. They might not have had a real interaction with you, might not have known who you are, what you actually look like. So these meetups help you establish those credibility, or make that relationship more strong. So organize, go for these meetups whenever you see any meetups happening in your city, and if it's pertaining to your niche, or if it's related to any of the products or services that you offer, attend those meetups, interact with people. That's one way of building a solid personal brand in the offline space, apart from social media as well. The second way, which I've really found helpful, is if you're building a personal brand, identify there are, as of now, there are tons of colleges and universities who have a lot of workshops or who have a lot of guest seminar happening. They are
Yeah.
always on the lookout for speakers or someone who can guide them as mentors. If you have couple of hours in a week to spare, identify those colleges or identify those clubs or organizations or hobby groups wherein you can actually help or mentor people, mentor younger generation, so that they can have a more guided approach to their career. Spend those time there, because that's one of the easiest and the quickest way to get known in the market by the upcoming generation. So you need to build that rapport with one generation back as well. So being that mentor or being that guide can actually help you build that right now, because you might not need it right now. You might be wondering, hey, what would the college kids do for me, or how can they be helpful for me? They might not be helpful for you now, but 10 years from now, they might be the one who might be approaching you for any business or guides or mentorships, or to be a part of, or for you to be a part of the board member team as well. So anything is
Yeah.
possible. So that's something that has really helped. So working on these two things can help you establish your personal brand in the offline world as well.
Great. So offline meetups and probably, doing seminars, workshops, and all of this are some of the approaches that a founder can perhaps take to build their personal brand beyond social
Social
media
media.
content creation.
Yeah.
My last question to you, Jerry, is what are the 3 do's and don'ts for a leadership position individual building their personal brand?
Um, that's actually a good question, because what I used to follow, or what I used to advise to a certain people, and that's being killed by the great Elon Musk right now. There are a lot of things that I said, hey, if you're a founder, don't do certain things in this way. Don't be too political, don't be too religious, or don't do all that stuff. But what he's doing is being extremely political, extremely one-sided approach. A lot of things he's bringing his own perspective, but
Yeah.
he can do it because he owns that platform. Or you reach a certain stage where whatever you say it does not matter because you own everything.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I typically ask the founders or any business leader, be it in any leadership position that you are in an organization, refrain from controversial topics. Though it might bring in a lot of engagement, you might be asked for interview comments on famous news channels or newspapers and all that stuff. That might sound tempting because that's something that you might not have got previously. But the thing is, that does more harm to your brand versus something more positive, because you
Yeah.
might be known only for that comment, or you might be known only for that one particular thing that you said in the heat of the moment. It might not be true as well, because during the heat of the moment there are times when you say a lot of things which you don't mean.
Yeah.
So you might be getting involved in a lot of random fights. Stay away from the controversial topics as much as you can. Second thing which I really advise them is, just because someone else is managing your social media, be it content or be it engagement, whatever, don't skip out on these platforms. You might have the busiest day, you might have like what 10, 12 meetings a day, but still, if you can find 30 minutes, log on to your platform, just go through what's happening, so that you don't land in a situation wherein tomorrow you're meeting someone and they say, hey, I read your post and that was really interesting point of view, and the founder has no idea what the post is or what he talked about, and he's looking all confused. Now that would be a really bad situation to be in. So whenever you have those 30, 40 minutes, go to your profile, identify what are the new trends that's happening, or identify at least what's going on within your post as well. That will be helpful, or that can be a conversation starter for your offline meetings. Third, which is again, which was really important, which a lot of people did not do in the initial phase, was uh, thinking of them as an expert and that they know everything on their field. And they don't believe in something called as collaboration. Like, whatever I say is the best, he might have a different perspective. Though he's from my own field or my own industry, he might have a different perspective, but I will never work with him. Now, what this does is, person A is an expert in, again, one field, person B in the same field is an expert. But both of them would have different audience set, different followers. The only win-win situation for both of them would be to collaborate and create a content together. Though businesses also can do that. It's not only about a creator collaborating, but even if similar complementary businesses, like let's say for example, if Zomato collaborates with a logistics company,
Hmm.
both do have some kind of collaboration possible, because with
Yeah.
Zomato's intercity, you need a logistics partner. Zomato
Yeah.
does not handle that. So something that complements your business, identify those business and create content which can be collaborative in nature, or which can bring out the best of both businesses. So that is something that you can create, which will help you expand your user base to more audiences. So that is something that you can identify, which a lot of founders have not been doing in the recent past, because uh, no matter what kind of product you have right now, you will obviously have a competitor. But how you work with that competition or how you work with other businesses can give you that extra edge.
Yeah. I think collaboration is something that I personally feel a lot of people still don't do it, and it's an untapped thing. So if you start collaborating, you get actually more eyeballs rather than saying that, oh, I am with my
Yeah,
competition. People will be like, oh, they're such a good people, like, they're collaborating. And that changes, I think, your brand perception about your brand as well, like probably as a more approachable person than being just a competitive, hard to crack person. So, yeah,
right.
thank you. Thank you for those insightful tips, Jerry. And thank you for coming here, sharing your journey, and sharing these many insightful nuggets on personal branding for leaders. Thank you so much for coming to my
Thank
podcast.
Thank you so much for the invite, and it's always a pleasure. Personal branding is something that I love talking on, so I can talk about it any time of the day as well. So I just love this topic. But yeah, thank you so much for the invite, and it was absolutely a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening till the end and supporting me with your patience and your attention because, well, those are the two rare things to get nowadays. Nevertheless, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for all the upcoming episodes wherein we dissect every element of branding and help you build a successful business for yourself.